House Piazza, founder and interior decorator of Allured by Design. Today I'm going to be taking you guys on a home tour of House Piazza. I'll be sharing some of my favorite rooms in my home, and I'll be sharing all of my design inspiration, my design aesthetic, and some of the amazing looks I've created. So let's get started. One of the first things you see are these gorgeous faux plastered walls. So what I wanted to do is make a big impact in a rather small space. I am one of those people that believe that the foyer is just as important to design as the rest of your house. You have to think about it. The foyer is the appetizer before the entree. So don't feel like, oh, I'm not gonna worry about my foyer. You want to worry about your foyer because the moment a person steps into your home, it's the very first visual appeal that they see before they see anything else. So we hired this artist by the name of Kelly Hyatt-Geronda. She specializes in faux plaster treatments. So instead of purchasing canvas paintings and putting them everywhere, we had Kelly create the art herself and put it on the walls. So right away from the foyer, we step into our formal dining room. So the formal dining room is actually one of my favorite rooms in House Piazza. I know that comes as a shocker for those of you who've been following me for a while, but this is actually one of my favorite rooms, and I'll tell you why in a second. But first, before we get into that, I just want to say that this particular tablescape, any given day of the week that anyone comes over to my home and visit me and my husband, this is our classic tablescape that you will see. So to get into why this is one of my favorite rooms. So for those who have been following me for some time, you know that my favorite design style is rustic glam. So out of all the rooms that I've styled in House Piazza, this is the room that I feel epitomizes my design style, my true design aesthetic. Every inch of this room, wherever you see something that's old and rustic and vintage, it's paired or married with something that's shiny and sparkly, modern and elegant. Everything is paired where those two worlds really kind of make a seamless harmony together. So one of my favorite pieces in this room is my wall art over here. So this wall art I actually purchased from a local artist by the name of Samantha from Sugarcane Home. Really why I love this piece so much is because it's indicative of my heritage and my culture from New Orleans. I'm a New Orleans, Louisiana gal, so I wanted to make sure that I had something in my home that really represented my roots. And anyone from the South, especially Louisiana, we love seafood and we love our oysters. So I had to get something that was representative of that. I love that each oyster has its own individual canvas piece. And then she trimmed everything in gold, and then even the oysters themselves are trimmed at the edge in gold. Keep that in mind because gold is my one main seam or thread that kind of pulls all of my looks together throughout my entire home. Another piece I want to talk to you guys about real quick is my chest. This is from another fellow designer that I shop with quite often. Her name is Leslie Vega of Leslie Vega Designs. Hi, Leslie. So this is something keeping with that same continuous look of rustic glam or rustic vintage. That's one of the reasons why I actually purchased this chest, because I love the fact that it had that really old look to it, very vintagey. And I love that the top was finished in like this burnished type of gold. Also, this lamp came from Leslie. Now this has more of a French provincial look, which really ties into the whole rustic look as well. So these two pieces are definitely two of my favorite pieces in the room, in addition to the wall art. And one more piece I'm gonna show you before we move on. So one of my favorite furniture pieces in my formal dining room is my buffet. One of the reasons I love this piece so much is because it was the first piece that me and my husband purchased for this space. We did things a little differently. I would definitely suggest to people to start off with their dining table and chairs first. But the reason we actually had to get the buffet before we got the table and chairs, this was a vintage, one-of-a-kind piece. It could not be reordered. Once it sold off the sales floor, that was it. I was afraid to lose it, essentially, so we had to actually get this before we got the table and chairs. And I'm actually happy that it worked out that way, because had we gotten the table and chairs, which are restoration hardware pieces, we knew that we were going to get this table and chair regardless, so it definitely didn't change up the look. It actually tied everything together perfectly. But had we got my table and chairs first, I more than likely would have did an 8-seater. And had we did that, I wouldn't have had space for the buffet. So I'm really, really, really happy that it worked out where we had to get the buffet first and then move to the table and chairs. So right across from the formal dining room, we step into my home office. Now, I like to refer to my home office as the fraternal twin room to the formal dining. Not identical, because it doesn't look exactly like the formal dining space, but because it's adjacent right across the foyer, we step into the home office. So because it's right next to it, I still wanted to keep the flow very continuous, yet still give it its own identity. So one of the biggest things that I did to keep the flow from the dining to the office, I installed the same curtains. So if you notice, when we were in the formal dining space, I had these gorgeous curtains. So I kept everything continuous. But to give the room its own identity, I kind of broke away from rustic glam and I went a little bit more glam in the home office. This is a space that my husband and I share together. My husband works from home often, and I, as a design blogger, I work from home quite often. So this is my husband's side of the office, as you can tell. These are his masculine accents. And over here, this is my side, which is definitely a little bit more feminine, hence the lighted candles, because I love candles. So the biggest feature in our home office, right away when you come in here, your eye gravitates to this beautiful gallery wall that I created. This is a fairly large space, so I really wanted to do a gallery wall that was going to stretch from one end to the next. I am not the biggest fan of wedding pictures staged all throughout the home. Totally not knocking anyone that likes to design or decorate like that. It's just not my personal taste. But because my husband and I, we share this space, I thought it would be a really, really great idea to kind of highlight a lot of our wedding pictures in one centralized area. And since love is the theme, you see a lot of wall art and words in the form of love. This is one of my absolute favorite sayings. This is a piece that I believe came from Hobby Lobby. And this one says, "Love you now, love you still, always have, always will." So outside of the gallery wall, one of my favorite little sections in my home office are my DIY corners. So these are Baroque frames. They're open, as in my hand can go right through them. It's no glass. And I had my install guy install these, and then I put a lantern right in the center. The lanterns are the Arlington lanterns from Pottery Barn. I thought this was a very artistic addition to add to the space instead of everything being canvas pieces and frames. So I wanted something to be a little bit different. So hence the open frame and lantern. Very, very simple, very easy. You can go to any store in your local area, either Hobby Lobby, Michael's, anywhere, you know, that usually carries frames. They can do an open frame for you, and then you just choose a lantern to your liking and have it installed. Another one of my favorite areas, I should say, is the seating area that I also put in here. So a lot of times if my husband and I, we're in here, we're working really long hours on our computer and we're just kind of tired from sitting at the desk. This is like the perfect area for us to kind of like sit back, relax ourselves, and just kind of take a breather. Also, if my husband takes meetings from home, or if I have a meeting that I need to take at home, this is a perfect little area for any of our guests or our clients that are coming to our home. The chairs actually come from Home Decorators Collection. And then in addition to the chairs, the way that I chose to style the area, this is one of my favorite setups. Whenever any room has two chairs, I love to kind of break up the monotony of the two chairs right together with two nesting tables or one table right in between. And then keeping with my gold theme, I found two gold nesting tables. Oh, and I have to say, one of my favorite things about this home office before you walk in are these French doors. Oh, I love them. Like seriously, that was like one of my dreams as a little girl. My brother had French doors in his home. I think I was maybe 15 when my brother bought his first home, and ever since I was like, I will have a home that have French doors. So I was so happy that we were able to get those installed. So from the office, we go to my last look station in the foyer. So let me give you a little history of Last Look. So most of you guys know that my profession comes from filmmaking, right? So in the film industry, before we actually start rolling, the first AD will say Last Looks. The first AD stands for First Assistant Director. So Last Looks is basically where the actors get a chance to look at themselves before camera starts rolling. So I thought it would be really cool when you walk into my home, straight off the foyer, I have a last look station. So when guests come over to my home, if it's windy outside or, you know, rainy, whatever, they can come right in, go to the mirror, have their last looks real quick, get themselves together before they present themselves to the rest of the house. So that's pretty much what this area is. And it also serves as a last look station even for me and my husband before we're exiting the door. So before we're going out on a date, to work, wherever, we get a chance one more time to look at ourselves, finesse ourselves before we go out. So right away when we leave the last look station in the extended part of the foyer, we walk into this gorgeous burst of color. This is the one main room that people see all the time. It is the great room, the blue living room. So as you guys notice when you first walk into our home, it's a lot of neutrals, beige, grayish, ivories, and cream. And then what I wanted to do is highlight our home by coming off of that extended foyer. I wanted to open up into me and my husband's favorite color, which is blue. Now my favorite color, blue, is actually hues of the deeper blues, the darker blues, like royal blue, sapphire, indigo. Those are the tones that I feel the most comfortable with, and you can see that in this gorgeous painting. So over here, this is one of my favorite areas of the blue living room. I chose this gorgeous Lemire painting from Z Gallery. It has all of the different tones of blue that I actually like, and then it also takes you to some of the lighter tones as well. To highlight the painting, because this is such a feature in the area, I had my handyman install these gorgeous Beaverton wall sconces, which also came from Z Gallery as well. This wall itself is fairly tall in height, so I felt like the painting looked a little lonely, so that's really the reason why I thought adding the sconces was going to really highlight the painting in the area itself. And then sticking with my rustic glam style, the sconces bring in the glam, and then I added this gorgeous rustic chest. This chest came from one of my favorite vendors over on the North Shore, Niche Modern Home. Then as we get into the thick of the color, you see all of these different tones of blue in my toss pillows. For the most part, a lot of the pillows are either cobalt, indigo, or sapphire. But one of the biggest highlights of the area, to kind of really complement all of the blue, you guys know that I love gold. It's just my favorite metallic. I like to mix metallics. If you notice, the wall sconces had a silver tone to it and amber. But on my coffee table, I highlighted everything with a lot of white marbles, white tones, and gold in particular. Then over here, as you go into my fireplace, one of the things that I did to really kind of create that continuous flow from my foyer area, we had Kelly do the same faux plaster process to the mantle as well. So that kind of really gives the area a very consistent flow instead of everything feeling so segregated, since this is an area that opens up. So what I did with the kitchen and our breakfast nook, which is right over here, I wanted the blue to continue. Again, keeping with the same continuous flow. And this is also to show people that you don't have to feel like, oh, because it's a separate room, I have to do something completely different. If it's an open space, you really can seamlessly flow your color from one space into the other. So I chose a lot of blue accents as far as like my vases on my island. Over here, we have these gorgeous seaport dinnerware, which came from Anthropologie. Now I have to say this, my island is not set up like this every day. You can come over to House Piazza on any given day and see my dining room tablescape set up that way, but this is really just for the video. You won't come over here and see this every day. So over here, we have one of my favorite tablescape setups that I did recently. So over here, most of the pieces that you see on the table, it's a collection of some of my favorite stores. Some pieces came from Anthropologie, some pieces came from World Market. The vase, which is the centerpiece of this table, this came from one of my favorite designers on social media, Farah, founder of Inspire Me Home Decor. And then also what I did to flow the blue from not only my living room, but also to my island and then my kitchen, I flowed the blue over to my breakfast bar. So over here, what I did a little different, I didn't want all of the darker blues over here. I wanted to mix it up just a little bit. So you have a little bit of the dark blue, then it kind of goes into a lighter shade, and then down here you start going into the really lighter tones, the tones that have more of like a green underground, the teals and the aquas. But everything just kind of keeps that same continuous flow with my design aesthetic, from rustic to glam, and then pairing both worlds. My table is very rustic. A lot of the accents atop of the table are glam. And then over here in my breakfast bar area, I accented the area with rustic wall art, and then just really kind of styled out the area with a lot of glam pieces. So right off of the blue living room, our guests can go into the hallway area that goes into the powder room. That's the room I'm going to show you guys next. So our powder room is a fairly small room, as most powder rooms are not super large. But one of the main things I'm most excited about in this room is the wallpaper installation. So this wallpaper, it is a gorgeous trellis print made by Osborne & Little, and I ordered it through Pulp Designs. So I didn't want to do the same blue theme that I did in the blue living room, but I did want to evoke some type of nice calm blue color. So I went a little lighter and I chose the trellis paper in the shimmery gold background. Gold is the theme. And then we went with a more aqua type of color. And one of the reasons I really wanted to do aqua is because it's a bathroom. It's usually like the nice calming colors you have in a spa. So I thought that would be so perfect for our guests to use our powder room to see really nice calming colors. One of the cute features that I added to our powder room, I put the little rocks in here to kind of make it feel more spa-like. It's a design feature that I highly recommend people to do all the time in their powder rooms. Is, you know, you want to make your guests feel as comfortable and as special as possible, like they really are going to a spa. The mirror is a rustic mirror that came from Restoration Hardware. And then over here on the back wall are two shelves. The shelves and the brackets both came from World Market. And then the way that I styled it, I did my bottom shelf more of a decor type of styling. And then up here, this is more for practicality. We have a candle, we have tissue, things that you need in a powder room. And then there's some additional towels. But it's a fairly simple and fairly small bathroom, but my goal was to just make it as comforting and really beautiful and spa-like as I possibly could. So now let's go to my favorite room. So So this is me and my husband's rustic regal retreat. This is what I love to refer to our master bedroom, because everything in this room is rustic and regal. Still with the whole rustic glam, but I like to call this room the rustic regal retreat because there's so much elegance, and it's the master bedroom for the queen and the king. So one of the things that I did for the master bedroom, as you guys know, I really do love a lot of neutral tones, even with blue being my favorite color. But if you can kind of tell just from the look and the style of this room, it definitely has a very similar feel to my formal dining space, which has a lot of the neutrals and the creams and the golds and the ivories. So I wanted our master bedroom to have a really nice moody feel to it. I didn't want it to be too bright white, and I didn't want it to be too dark. So what I did, I married both worlds. We brought Kelly back, our faux plastering artist, and we had her create the same look that she did in my foyer walls, as well as on the mantle. We had her create it as an accent. Now we used some different colors in the accent wall that she did in here. The foyer walls and the mantle wall has more of like a creamier tone because it has that botany beige in it, which is one of the main colors on most of my walls in House Piazza. But for the master bedroom, because I went with so many like champagne tones, as you can see from my pillows, I wanted to pull that into the wall as well. So we did a lot of champagne and oyster shimmery tones on the wall to really kind of highlight and accent all of the different details that you find in our master bedroom. Another thing that I love so much about this room, it is texture heaven in here. And I'm sure you guys can probably see from the tour, I love a lot of texture. I don't like to stick with the same texture. So we have the one texture of the silk curtains. Then we have a little bit of a faux fur on the bed. Some of my pillows have a little bit more ornate detail. Some of the pillows actually have a little bit of velvet. Then over here, my chair, which I absolutely love, by the way. This is a custom chair that came from Allured Designs. You can customize it in the print, the fabric that you want, as well as the finish. And getting back to the different textures, my chair is a linen texture. So that was one of the main things that I wanted to make sure that I did in our master. I wanted to really, really evoke all of these different feelings. The bright colors evokes peace, serenity, calmness. And then the dark chocolate on the walls, it evokes that more sensual, romantic type of feeling. And that's what I really wanted to do for a master bedroom, since this is a room that me and my husband share after all. So one of the big features also in our master bedroom is this gorgeous St. James armoire from Restoration Hardware. So one of the things that I love so much about this particular collection was all of the ornate detail at the top. And then over here with my dresser, we did the same style. This is also the St. James collection, but I chose to do it in an antique white to complement the antique white of the legs on my chair. And then the coolest feature is this gorgeous TV cabinet, which came from Allured Designs as well. One of the reasons why I really decided to do a TV cabinet, I really didn't want to install a TV in the master bedroom. I wanted to do something different. I asked my husband, would he be okay if we, not do a TV in the bedroom? He was not going for it. So I said, okay, we can install a TV if you absolutely must have one. So I thought this was such a beautiful and amazing find when I found this online at Allured Designs, and it really just complemented the rest of the space. Another really great feature that I wanted to add to our rustic regal retreat to give even added texture were these gorgeous paintings that I found at HomeGoods. So one of the things that I really loved so much about these paintings was that it provided so much texture, and it just complemented the beautiful work that Kelly did on our accent wall. Now the colors for the paintings are a little different, which is a good thing because it gives me the contrast. We have so much texture on this back wall. I'm bringing in some of the texture as well to this side of the space. And then one of my favorite features over here in this area is this gorgeous mermaid pillow. This is just texture on top of texture on top of texture. So this is the Rustic Regal Retreat, my favorite room in House Piazza. I have a couple of more rooms to show you and then we'll be done. So come on, let's go to the next room. So House Piazza is a 2-story home, and I am getting ready to take you guys to the second level. So one of the interesting things that I wanted to do with our stairwell, I wanted to create yet another gallery wall. I really didn't want blank, empty, plain walls, so I wanted to create some interest and add some drama. So I started selecting and curating a variety of pieces that I found at Home Goods, all kind of beautiful paintings that spoke to me that had all kind of different hues of blue. And then I had a special local artist by the name of Kara Sanchez commissioned 2 paintings for me. This one over here to the right is titled Into the Blue. This is a resin painting. When we had our consultation, one of the things that she noticed right away was my love for blue and then all of the gold accents. So that's what she pretty much did with this particular painting. She kind of recreated her artistic version of what she saw when she walked into my blue living room. And one of the things I love so much about this particular painting is some of the recycled glass pieces that she put in it just to kind of give it that extra sparkle and that extra shine. And then over here to the left side of the stair gallery wall is another piece commissioned and created by Kara Sanchez. So this one kind of follows that same continuous flow of the oysters that I had downstairs, right? Created by a different artist. So what Kara did to kind of differentiate her oyster, she found this gorgeous vintage window frame. She stripped it, took the glass out, and actually included the canvas, and then she did the border, the frame part of this particular piece in a gorgeous champagne oyster luster. Now I'm getting ready to take you to the final room of the tour, the guest room. Let's go in and take a peek. So this is the guest bedroom. Anytime guests come over to stay with me and my husband, a night, 2 nights, a weekend, a week, hopefully no longer than a week, because you know. No, I'm just teasing. But for real, anytime people come over to stay with me and my husband, this is the room that they will be treated to, the guest bedroom retreat. So one of the things that I wanted to do a little different in the guest bedroom from the master, I wanted to use a lot of fun, playful colors. And I chose to design and style this room with colors that I don't typically work with. I did purple and we did a lot of different tones of pink. Now in general, I'm not the biggest pink fan. It's never been my favorite color. And because I don't typically work with purple or pink, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna stretch my palette a little bit. So in the guest room, you see beautiful hues of purple, a little bit of blush, some other tones of pink, and then I also wanted to do an accent wall the same way that I did in our master, but with this wall, we did wallpaper. And this is a very simple stick and peel wallpaper that I purchased from Target. It comes in a lot of different colors. It's a trellis print, and I thought it would really brighten up the space, but also really complement all of the playful colors. And then the biggest feature of the guest room is this gorgeous commission painting. This one came from a talented artist in North Carolina, and her name is Jennifer Carampolis. I sent her all of the colors, the theme of the room, and she created this beauty for me, and it totally ties in this entire space. One of the biggest color themes in this room, keeping with that continuous flow of gold, you see pretty much spread throughout the room all of the different hints and accents of gold. I'm sure you guys know that by now. Because I love tossed pillows so very much, the blue living room, all of the tossed pillows in there, my master bedroom, a hoard of tossed pillows. Of course, I had to bring my tossed pillow love to my guests as well. So I extended all of these gorgeous tossed pillows atop of the bed, also to the little bench area over here. And this area just really ties in all of the colors of the room, from the grays, the blush pink, the purple, the neutrals, and the gold. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on a tour of House Piazza. I hope you guys are taking with you loads of design inspiration and all kind of amazing design ideas that you can incorporate into each and every one of your own homes. I'm a firm believer that a person's home should be a direct reflection as well as an extension of their personal taste and style. Just as I've done in my own home, I hope that you all are inspired to extend your personal taste and style into your home. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, as well as subscribe to the blog so that you're always in the know of the latest and greatest of Allured by Design. Thank you guys once again, and until the next project, hugs and love, everyone.